Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope that you're closing out the year strong. Look, by now you know. You've seen the intro video. You've heard me say it multitudinous times. We are in the midst of a fundraiser. We are raising funds. The goal is to hit $10,000 by the end of the year. Now, let me explain first and foremost the mathematics involved here. Now, I'm posting this video on Facebook, where I have 5,000 friends on my personal list, over 70,000 people in one of my groups that I co-moderate with my partner, YouTube, where I have approaching somewhere around 7,700, approaching 8,000 subscribers. We had to start over, for those who don't know. I'm not going to get into that now. We had to start over, and we just never really regained our traction for a number of different reasons. But so 7,000, 5,000, 70-something, 70, almost 80,000 on one, and a bunch of others that I'm putting on. So technically speaking, if we were actually unified, if we actually moved, we could literally raise $100,000 in a weekend by everybody giving $1. We know that's not going to happen because we simply, whoa, that came out of nowhere. Which I decided to get out the office and head to the gym. But, you know, rain doesn't really bother me that much. But anyway, that's the mathematics of it. But what I'm asking is everybody to make a sacrifice. I sacrifice every day. I sacrifice every day. I get up, whether I get support or not, and I have gotten very little support. I get up and I go to work. I go to work, and then I use a great deal of what I work for to cover what it costs to serve my community. I shouldn't be asked to do that by myself. I'm challenging. I'm asking everybody who can to make a sacrifice this weekend and give a minimum of $100. I know we just came through Christmas, and that is actually a part of my concern. That's a part of my complaint or challenge. We spent from Halloween, October 31st, well, the week leading up to Halloween, until this past Christmas, we've spent over $500 billion into commercialized holidays, celebration, and everything like that. I'm not here to chastise you. I'm not here to do that, but I'm here to put in front of you the reality of it. The vast majority of that $500 billion, 500 and something billion, half of that, I mean more than half, the vast predominance of, well over 90-something% of that went back into the white economy. Yeah, we spent some money with some black-owned businesses, some boutiques, some herbal stuff, some art and all that stuff. We did that, and I am so happy we are supporting one another on some level. But I guarantee you, you can look at where the numbers been. You can do the research yourself, and you're going to find we spent it on stuff that went back into the economy of the very people we say oppress us. And at the same time, we did very little in the way of supporting those who stand up for us, those who fight. I can't tell you how many times I've advocated for people who were wrongly arrested, how many times I've advocated for people who were wrongly killed, how many times I've advocated for students in school districts that were mistreated, unnecessarily referred for special education, unnecessarily expelled or expended. I've dealt with superintendents, I've dealt with principals, I've dealt with school boards, I've dealt with police departments, I've dealt with universities. I have people who I've literally advocated for black students at universities who weren't getting what they should have been getting in the way of services, assistance, or help in particular areas. I've done it. I've never asked anybody for $1 in doing it. If you tell me there's a need, I show up. But guess what? It's not free. It's so much. I have done thousands of, I'm talking about well over 70,000 hours over the last 30 years in research. And I'm almost certain it's way more than that, but because at that point in time, that's what I was doing. I was literally spending 10, 11 hours researching a day, nonstop. What am I getting at? I'm saying that you have people who give. You have people who sacrifice. You have people who put it all out there. We've had a long list of people who gave us their all. And we gave very little in return. We took their blessings. We lauded their blessings. We stood up and we still quote them. But we didn't love on them. We didn't support them. We didn't get behind them when their message would have hit the hardest. We realized who they were after they were gone. I have talks with my friend and my colleague, Dr. Michael Blanchard, who co-hosts the podcast, The Teachers, with me. We'll be getting cranked back up on that in January. Both of us have had a very rough 2022, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to speak on him. But you know, one of the things that Dr. Blanchard has always told me, he said, Doc, what I hate is I don't believe they're going to get just how powerful your message is and how much you have contributed until you're gone. And my response to him from my heart is, I'll be okay with that. From the sense of, I don't need to be acknowledged, from the point or perspective that I don't need the praise. I don't need to be validated by anybody. I do what I do. I know who I am. I am confident in what I have been able to do. I am satisfied with my work. I'm not done yet, but I'm not sitting up and feeling unfulfilled or less than for any reason. But so if it's not until after I'm gone that people sit up and say, man, this dude was on point, it's, you know, if that's when it happens, I'm good. As long as, you know, my offspring, my progeny are aware of what Papa did or what Dad did or what great-granddad did, then I'm good. I don't need the pat on the back. But what I do need is support so that we can reach more people. What I do need is to have backing so we can reach more people. Look on, if you're on YouTube, just look at the channel and see how many videos you have sitting up there. That doesn't count the 2,500 videos that got snatched down the first time around. There's close to 2,000 or over 2,000 videos now. There is close to 1,000 articles on almost every topic I wrote on the Odyssey Project site. There's 25 full-length books that I have published that touches everything from trauma, miseducation, the war on black wealth, and everything else in between. There is tons of lectures. Outside of the work I do in the community, you look on the site, you're going to see programs like Black Men Lead. We're currently still restoring Ghetto's Forgotten Daughters. We may end up changing that, I don't know. But again, programs that are focused on helping young black females who have suffered and struggled with abuse, neglect, childhood sexual abuse, rape, and domestic violence. We got mental health arm. We have a research center. We have a think tank. We are putting in work. We are going hard in the paint. We are providing solutions to the enigmas that the black community is facing on a regular basis. We're not playing around. We're coming with the heat. And we've been doing it for decades. If you go back, you can trace the work we're doing. So it's not like, hey man, this guy just popped up and he's asking us to give. No, this guy has been giving and he's now asking for support and help. This guy has been hunkered down and coming with nothing but hardcore force for decades. I've spent my entire adult life fighting this battle. And then about 20 plus years ago, I decided to come all the way in. And then in 2005, I literally shut down my entertainment company and started the Odyssey Project as a full-time organization to serve the Black community, the Black collective, to become a research center, to become a think tank, to become a service provider. And in that time, we have yet to raise $20,000 in 17 years. You know, your 501, look, the nonprofit industrial complex has been raping the community for I don't know how long. You would think we would have known and learned by now that if they get behind you, if they fund you, if they sit up there and co-sign you, you're not a win. When have they co-signed something that works? Show me where it works. Don't tell me about how much money they're putting into it, because I see the money, but I know that the way the money is funneled, and I teach all this, the money comes back. And it looks good going in, but it's not funding anything that works. In order for something to work, even when it comes to a rite of passage program, there are certain elements and components that have to be present. You can sit up and say it can look pretty, you can have all of the dots, you can take the boys on trips, you can do all that stuff like that, and it's like, man, this is just awesome. And then when you look at the numbers are actually worse. More crime being committed, more violence being committed, more incarceration, and you wonder, okay, what's going on? And if you're not careful, they'll use that very thing against you. Man, we pumped millions into it, and they just can't be helped. No, you didn't pump it into the right thing. You knew the programs not to fund. So for people that are saying, why don't you get this? I'm telling you what's going on. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for a long time. Look at the programs that work and look at the support they get. And there are people who can sit up and say, man, I know because it happened to me. We are going to have to fund our own. We're going to have to support our own. So here's my challenge. I'm challenging you to make a sacrifice. If you can give $100 or more, please do so. If you can't, give what you can, but make an effort to give. We can't keep passing the buck, and we have trained ourselves to do that, except for when they are asking for something, or when something shiny goes out, we'll go buy it, or when they sit up and, oh my God, oh, those poor animals, oh my God, those poor this, and then we'll sit up and we'll look and know we're in the worst condition out of any group, and we'll bypass the chance and opportunity and responsibility to give. I'm challenging you. I'm not going to get off this square. I'm not going to ease up. You can click unsubscribe. You can say what you want to say. You can click the thumbs down button. I'm going to hold every last person that will watch this accountable. We are got to stop sitting around thinking somebody else is going to do it. One of the things that my grandfather taught me, second grade education, he taught me, don't wait for nobody else to do what you can do. Because what you'll end up doing is begging. Stand up and do it. That's why I've always gone. That's why I've always put in. That's why my people had to really push me to be consistent with the fundraising thing, because I'm going to get it done whether they help or not. They know that we need help. And they said, that's not the point. You've got to sit up and hold them accountable. You got to stay in their face. Whether they give or not is going to be on them, but you can't give them an out by not asking. You have to say, Doc, you got to put your pride aside. We know you show up every day. Anybody that's ever received my help knows I show up. Anybody that seen me has known that it's been some times that it was hitting me hard to do stuff. I've got 13 kids, 9 grandkids, a business I'm trying to grow that's wearing my ass out. And yet I show up every day to serve my people too. That's what my days look like, trying to handle and manage all of that amidst a lot of other things. And you don't see me whining and complaining. I've told you a few times this year that this has been rough on me. It has. This has been an extremely rough year, but I'm still standing. I'm still breathing. I'm still there. And I'm coming harder in 2023 than I've ever come in my life. I'm living 2023 to the fullest in every way possible. And that means in the way I give and the way I serve. But I'm also going to live it in holding everyone in my circle accountable. You want to live a life at an excellent level, it costs. If you want to carry people to the next level, it costs. If you want your people to win, it costs. So this is my challenge. It's time to start supporting. There's absolutely no reason with as many people that sit up and consume my content free of charge, as many that we can't get to $10,000. And that's a fraction of what it costs to run this thing. I mean a fraction. Think about all the things: mental health, programs, rite of passage, dealing with domestic violence, setting up. And then this coming year, we're going into housing people with domestic violence issues, people with mental illnesses, addictions. We're going all out. I'm actually working with a friend of mine who was an attorney who has now been elected a judge. Things come full circle. It's amazing. But anyway, and she wants us to help us. And so she's saying she's going to refer the families that need help, that look like us, to us. So then we've got to be in a position to make sure we can do what we're going to do. And I'm working with some people on that end. And so, again, we are not playing around. We are going to be a force. I'm going to leave my imprint. You know, I'm asking you to help us make the imprint bigger, to reach more people. That's my challenge to you. And I'm going to keep coming. We've got to do better. We've got to do better. I'm talking, what, $52 in December. That will get me, and people act like they're actually funding me. I'm like, $52, really? That doesn't fill my truck up. Now, don't get me wrong, for the people who gave, and it may be somebody I'm forgetting, but that's the number I remember looking at and going, you got to be kidding me. And then I keep right on going. And don't get me wrong, I'm not pissing on $52. If you give me $1, I appreciate you because I believe you gave from your heart, and that dollar you may have needed. I'm not pissing. What I'm saying is there's no way we have as many people as we have. And that's what happened. I'm not talking about the amount the person or the couple of people gave. I'm talking about the fact that they're the only ones that gave. Let me be very clear on that for the people who gave, and I'm not going to give the amounts of each. Your gift matters. It mattered when you gave it to you. It mattered when I received it from me, and it still matters. And I want you to understand that I'm not talking about the amount per person. I'm talking about the number of people. That's the challenge. On that note, I'm out of here. I'm going to get in this gym.